I want to give a special thank you to my members. We are now up to 139 channel members. I just made new channel emotes and new badges, and I'm posting content exclusively for the members. I'm covering some sort of off-the-wall stories for you guys over there on the membership program, so I want to thank you guys for supporting that so much. The goal is to be entirely sufficient off of my members only, so that things like ad revenue and donations, they don't even matter. We're not even going to be relying on that shit. But that's more of a long-term goal. I don't think we're anywhere close to that yet, but you guys have been supporting the membership program a lot, so I want to thank you guys firstly and foremost. If you're following me on Twitter, then you know that I was on Discovery TV today. I expected this to happen, not in the way that maybe it was sort of presented. I was actually presented in a very negative light on the Onision TV documentary series, and I understand that a lot of you guys just do not give a fuck about the story, and I'm there with you, alright? It's really... I think you guys are gonna care later on, maybe when Nick DiOrio and John Swan's videos come out, kind of discussing aspects of that make the story more interesting, but when it comes to the TV documentary series, boomers don't care about it, which is what I would assume their target demographic is, and young people like me, we don't really care about it either. The Onision story has been done to death, nobody really gives a shit anymore, and they are really trying to make a cash grab here, but I'll tell you the two real reasons why they're making this Onision TV documentary series. The first reason should be obvious, which is to rejuvenate Chris Hansen's TV presence. The second reason, and I've talked about this before, we'll get into it, but first I need to respond to this downright, I would almost consider slanderous portrayal of my content here. And yes, I did give them permission to use my content, of course, and I almost, I had to have expected that they would fuck me over just a little bit. But you know what? They came to me. They asked me, "Can we use your content?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever. I don't really give a fuck." All right, that's been my stance. Period. If you want to repost my live streams, or you want to clip me, or use me in your videos or your documentaries, I really don't care. But if you're gonna use me dishonestly, I'll give a response to that. Let's take a look here, and I'm gonna have to be very fucking careful because I tried to give my live response earlier, and they immediately struck me off the air when I had over 1,000 viewers live. They completely struck me. So let me be very careful here, but here is the clip in question.
For a long time, people were afraid to speak against figures of power. But there's a new trend where people speak up against them. However, that still puts them in a position of getting hate.
I warned you guys about Shiloh. Go ahead.
So they got Edwin here, and I'm gonna have to pause because again, I'm gonna have to be very careful here to make sure that I don't get struck again. So they have Edwin explaining that people are calling out Onision. Now they're about to play a damning Onision clip, I guess.
And search for Shiloh, see all the stories on her and how crazy she is.
Some of the most ridiculous people on earth exist in this internet community. And they don't care who they hurt. Don't look at others. Look in the mirror.
There is so much misinformation that is out against him.
He did not break the law, and if he did, he would be facing legal consequences. Now, again, I could play a clip before that. You have to really watch it for yourself, all 18 minutes until you get to this point for it to be more obvious, but unfortunately, I cannot play more context because I'm setting myself up to get striked, and that's assuming that this video itself doesn't get striked, which is just ridiculous, but they play, Onision's a bad guy, Onision's an abuser, Onision's a groomer, and then they fast forward to a few clips where it's Keemstar saying that, there's a lot of misinformation about him, which, I mean, to be honest, is true. There is a lot of people, and it's with any story. You'll have a story where a guy's an awful person, but then people will add on to that to make it sound even worse, when really, it's just a bunch of misinformation. Then they play the clip where I'm saying, he's not going to jail. It's just never gonna happen, which is true. It's never gonna happen based on what we know now. If we found out a bombshell tomorrow that Onision actually engaged in underage sex, well, he's probably going to jail, unless he's like a federal agent or something like that. The way it is now, the information that we have now, it's just not sufficient enough to put this guy in jail, and that's absolutely true. Hansen even says in this documentary, justice will be served, which is the same thing that he's been saying for a while now, but it's a blanket statement. It doesn't mean anything. And so they throw me and Keemstar in there as sort of the Onision defense squad. I am no defender of Onision. The fact that they would even throw me in there without clarifying that I am, it's just downright disingenuous. It's manipulative editing. You know, any person who would watch this would naturally come off with the conclusion, provided they don't know who I am, that I'm some sort of crazy Onision defender. I mean, look at the clip that plays right after this.
All the comments to be hashtag the cover Onision on screen right now.
We were being...
I don't know who the fuck that is or what he's talking about, but he must be an Onision defender. Oh wait, that's what they tried to paint me and Keemstar as, and that's just absolutely not true. I don't even like Keemstar anymore. Obviously, you guys know the story, but he's not a defender. He was certainly playing like he was like, Onision needs a defense, he needs his word out there, but, I mean, that's true. Onision does deserve to get his word out there, to get his defense out there. If he's being accused of something, and he has contradictory information, he absolutely deserves a platform to get his information out there. And the truth remains is that this guy's never going to jail, based on what we know now. Hansen is selling you a false story. He's giving you a false promise, and he has refused to respond to this. He simply is just throwing out blanket statements. He's going to jail. He's going to jail. For what? Grooming isn't a crime. It's disgusting, but it isn't a crime. It doesn't even have a strict legal definition. And it's just ridiculous that they try to throw me in there as some sort of Onision defender, and then when I go live to respond to it immediately, they strike me down instantly. It's absolutely ridiculous, and mark my words, I wrote them an email, because I have contact with the person that reached out to me. I wrote them an email immediately saying, what the fuck, this is ridiculous, you paint me dishonestly, and then when I try to go on the air and you clear the record, you strike me down immediately. It's absolutely, ridiculous. Here they have this title card here, right? As of December 18, 2020, the FBI has not commented publicly on the case. No charges have been filed against Greg, Onision Jackson, or Kai. Well, damn, no charges been filed? I guess the FBI is just a massive Onision defender. Obviously. It's ridiculous. Here's another awful clip here.
They thought that it was just for financial gain, and
This is a segment of the documentary where criticism is given to Chris Hansen.
essentially does exploit victims, in my opinion.
Well, Edwin, perhaps you should take a look in the mirror, having tried to use victims in your own way with the drama channel to drive up clicks and views.
In the middle of his Discovery TV documentary series highlighting Onision being the creep that he is, which he is, I'm not denying that, Chris Hansen decides to take a shot at my boy Edwin because he gave the victims an interview. He interviewed the victims, which is comparable to Chris Hansen using these girls for profit. And look, I'm not saying you can't monetize the story. I'm not saying if you monetize a serious story, that is indicative that you no longer care about the story. What I am saying is that Chris Hansen is a well-documented opportunist. He uses these girls to get this story, to pitch this story to Discovery ID, to make a profit, to get himself back onto TV. He even used one of these girls to take a shot at us. A girl, Noah Ray, he immediately platformed and really just got her to say that me and my friends are a bunch of re-victimizers because she had called into my show and accused Nick Diorio of awful things, which then prompted Nick Diorio to get loud and aggressive with her. She then goes on Chris Hansen's show, and Chris Hansen's like, would you say they're re-victimizers? You know, trying to get as much out of her as he can. I mean, this guy is, and then factor in the fact that these girls wanted their interviews removed from Chris Hansen once they found out the grifting, lying piece of shit that he is. He didn't remove the interviews, and then factor on the fact that these girls didn't even want to be in this interview in the first place, but he shows their tweets, he shows their faces blurred out slightly so that he doesn't show their names, but he still tells their stories, which was against their wishes. And look, alright, he's allowed to do it. They're public stories. They're stories that are as public as day. You can talk about it, you can cover it, but don't sit here and pretend like you actually give a shit about the victims. Otherwise, you'd be entirely cooperative when they're asking you to respect their privacy. Instead, no, you show their shit on screen. It's just ridiculous. He goes at Edwin, this false equivalence is absolutely brain dead. But do you remember when I talked about what is Chris Hansen's goal with making this Discovery TV interview? What is the goal here? Well, I'll tell you what the second goal is, besides rejuvenating his TV career. The second goal is to take a shot at YouTube, the algorithm, the radicalization, the pipeline, and the drama YouTubers. Because who destroyed Chris Hansen's career? Rightfully so, it was the drama YouTubers. So Hansen's gonna use this to go after the drama YouTubers, the algorithms, the sort of the pipeline theory. which is that YouTube profits off of negative, hateful videos, and drama YouTubers have got to go because they're just disgusting pieces of shit.
If we have someone who's being bullied at school and the teachers fail to act, they can be held accountable. But if someone is being bullied online and YouTube does nothing about it, YouTube can still profit off of that.
YouTube doesn't profit off of hate or bullying or harassment. They profit off what viewers want to watch. So for instance, if you watch a political video, let's say you watch Steven Crowder, alright? Next you're gonna get Ben Shapiro videos in your recommendation. Next you're gonna get, I don't know, that's another conservative talking head. You might get, Trump speeches in your recommended. They're not doing that because they want you to fall down some sort of Republican, right-wing, content hole. They're just showing you that because they know that you watched one video that's similar to other videos, and the algorithm is programmed to recommend videos based on what you last watched. If I watch an Edwin Generations video, next I might get promoted a Creepshow video, or perhaps I'll get promoted, a Ready to Glare video. I don't know. They're gonna promote, if you watch me, you might be promoted a Boblax video next, or a Pegasus video, or an Optimus video, or a Nicholas Dioria video. These are not malicious algorithms programmed to lead people down, this hateful bullying pipeline, or this political radicalization. They're just algorithms that are designed to promote content similar to what you last watched. There's no deep science to it. And of course, they promote, they spin it as YouTube has secret algorithms that promote, aggressive content towards you. What does that mean? It's dishonest into how YouTube works. They paint YouTube as the Wild West. They paint YouTube as this crazy landscape that you can just say whatever the fuck you want. I mean, clearly I can't because I tried to go live and respond to this and I was immediately taken off the air. YouTube is not the Wild West. It's censored as fuck. I mean, every 6 months they make new guidelines. They update their old guidelines to let you know, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. I mean, they took Leafy off the air. Just a few months ago, they took Leafy off the air. So don't give me this shit that YouTube's the Wild West and YouTube is just this unregulated hellscape. That's absolutely not the case.
Clicks are the metric of how to be successful on YouTube. We start to care less and less about right and wrong.
I mean, tell me about it. Chris Hansen made a fucking fortune. Giving the viewers exactly what they wanted, which was a false promise that Onision would go to jail. Still hasn't happened yet, and it never will, unless some fucking bombshell information comes out that, would change the entire story. Suddenly we're not talking about grooming, suddenly we're talking about underage sex, or some crime of that nature.
We want to hold someone accountable. We want to create a reason for people to stop what's going on here. And right now, what reason does YouTube have to take this down if they could still profit off it?
Onision's channel? Profit off of what? Onision's YouTube channel? How many views is he getting? What's his channel uses the most? It's Uh-Oh, bro. Isn't that the one, or is it Onision Speaks? Okay. This channel is making 50,000 views a day. He's making at most, this is at most, this is being the most charitable to the argument, he's making a couple $100 a day. And that's not counting his other channels, of course, but, look at this shit. Is this what YouTube's really profiting off of? What do they have to gain from keeping Onision on the platform? Don't try to spin it like Onision's this massive cash cow. If anything, the negative videos made about Onision, those are the cash cows right there. Onision himself, no, he's not bringing them any fucking money, and even if he was, YouTube runs at a loss. They don't run for a profit. YouTube is just a giant database meant to collect our information. They're not here to make a profit. They could make a profit if they wanted to, but that's not the purpose of YouTube. These boomers have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, or if they do, they're just being dishonest. And how dare they try to paint me as some sort of supporter of Onision? I think the guy's a degenerate, but I'm being realistic here, and I understand that he's never going to jail. And that's all I said. So, sorry, but that's just not the case, man. Anyway, I could go on for longer, but I'm trying to be careful here because this video, 9 times out of 10, or if I had to guess, 9 out of 10, this video is probably gonna get taken down, and it's gonna be a pain in my ass, and they're gonna strike me, but maybe that won't happen. Maybe I'll skirt by. It's just so annoying, dude. Fuck these people. Fuck these boomers. I wish they were just honest about the fact that they hate YouTube, they hate drama, and they want to see us go. Because in that case, it's like, okay, well, whatever. You're a scumbag, but at least you can admit it. But no, they have to sort of paint this narrative that they're doing something good and righteous, that they're going after these hateful drama creators. That's exactly not what they care about. There's no way. Anyway, you guys hear the music. My name is AugierC. Shout out to my members at youtube.com/AugierC/join. You guys are awesome. Take care and have a good day.